Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I am Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Thousands of TTC workers could be on strike as of June 7th. Suspects charged in armed home invasion in Vaughan, part of larger criminal network, police. Freeland says capital gains proposal will be tabled before summer break. Toronto man charged after ghost gun seized during King Township traffic stop. Toronto man stole nearly $40,000 in series of renovation frauds, police allege. Police investigating after Bradford couple found dead inside their home. Loblaw boycott organizers say they plan to keep movement going past May.
These were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details.
Thousands of TTC workers could walk off the job starting on June 7th after the Ontario Ministry of Labour issued a No Board report to their union on Tuesday. The No Board report kicks off a 17-day countdown until members of the Amalgamated Transit Unit ATU Local 113 are in a legal strike position. The union, which represents about 12,000 of the transit workers who operate and maintain the TTC, said negotiations with the transit agency continue at the bargaining table. This is the next legal step with respect to exercising our right to withdraw services. We have already started mobilizing our members to prepare for this should we need to take strike action in June, ATU Local 113 President Marvin Alfred said in a statement on Tuesday. The union has said there has been little progress on key issues related to job security and wages. ATU Local 113 members have been without a contract since March 31st last month. They voted in favor of strike mandate. This is the first time in years that the union has been able to negotiate a deal with the possibility of strike after a court struck down the province's designation of the TTC as an essential service. The last transit strike at the TTC happened in 2008. In a statement on Tuesday, TTC CEO Rick Leary said there would be service impacts if a strike happened, but it is still unclear what those would be. Leary added, the TTC will keep the public updated on the ongoing negotiations. Councillor Jamal Mears, the chair of the TTC board, said in a statement that he remained confident that both parties would reach a fair deal. I am encouraged that the TTC and ATU Local 113 remain at the bargaining table to continue negotiating to reach a deal and avoid any job action measures, Mayor says. Last week, Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow expressed hope that a new deal could be reached to avert a strike. The Liberal government will bring its proposal to increase the inclusion rate on capital gains in House of Commons before the parliamentary summer break, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland said Tuesday. In the coming weeks and certainly before the House rises, we will begin the legislative process to implement our increase in the inclusion rate, Freeland confirmed during a news conference. The Finance Minister announced the capital gains tax changes as part of her April budget, but left the new inclusion rate out of the budget legislation she tabled last month. The Liberals must table a motion in House of Commons before they bring forward the actual legislation. The government says that even if a bill has not yet passed, the change will take effect on June 25th. The government proposes to make 2/3 of capital gains taxable. Currently, only one half of the profits made on the sale of assets such as stocks or secondary real estate property are taxed. The high inclusion rate will apply to all capital gains realized by corporations, while individuals will only face the higher inclusion rate on capital gains of more than $250,000. The idea has garnered significant attention and pushback. Lobby groups representing businesses and physicians who expect to be affected by the changes have called on the government to reconsider the increase to the inclusion rate. However, Liberals have defended the effective tax increase on capital gains, arguing that Canada needs to raise more revenue to pay for the things like housing and healthcare. The Liberal government estimates the higher inclusion rate will generate $19.4 billion over the next 5 years. Introducing the capital gains tax changes in a stand-alone bill will force every federal party to take a position on the proposal. As Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre looks to the court The working class vote, it remains unclear how his party will navigate the vote. Freeland took the opportunity on Tuesday to call Poilievre out for not taking a stance on the proposed tax changes yet. The Conservatives did not immediately respond to a request for comment. While they were quick to come out and oppose the budget after it was presented last month, they have yet to say whether they will support a capital gains bill. In an opinion piece penned for the National Post earlier this month, Poilievre suggested he won't fight against the tax changes on behalf of business lobbies. Instead, he said businesses themselves need to convince Canadians why the policy is a bad idea. Police in Ontario say a group of suspects charged in an armed home invasion north of Toronto last year were driving a vehicle stolen in carjacking in Calgary just 1 month earlier. In a news release issued Tuesday, York Regional Police said 5 suspects had been arrested in connection with a home invasion in Vaughan, Ontario in the early morning hours of December 24, 2023. Police said that 3 masked men forced entry into the home and proceeded to assault and hold the occupants at gunpoint while demanding money. Responding officers encountered 3 suspects, and during the interaction, an officer discharged their firearm multiple times, police said. One suspect was taken into custody and 2 fled the scene. A loaded firearm was dropped by one of the suspects and seized. No one was seriously injured, police said. A black sedan was seen fleeing the area as officers approached the residence, police said. Investigators said that the vehicle was stolen during an armed carjacking in the Calgary on November 10, 2023. Police said 4 further suspects were identified and charged with a combined 37 criminal offenses, and an additional firearm, a sawed-off shotgun, was seized. Investigators say they are releasing photos of the accused because they believe they are part of larger criminal network and may be only known by their street name. Police said they are charging Lauren Wolf, 33, of Onion Lake First Nation, Ali Mohammed, 26, of Toronto, Keyword Basarak, 32, of Toronto, Jamie Lee Tudusis, 36, of Onion Lake First Nation, and Elsie Jimmy of Thunderchild First Nation. Anyone with information is asked to contact York Regional Police at 1-866-876-5423, extension 6630, or Crime Stoppers anonymously. A man in his 20s has been arrested after allegedly stealing nearly $40,000 in a series of renovation frauds across the Toronto area. According to investigators with Peel Regional Police, the suspect signed 3 renovation contracts in 2023, collecting deposits totaling $37,000. In every instance, promised to provide a service, signed a contract, collected a deposit, and failed to provide said service or return the deposit, police alleged in a release issued Tuesday. On Thursday, Toronto resident Tristan Tarnoki, 23, with 1 count of defrauding the public and 1 count of possession of property obtained by crime. The accused is scheduled to make a court appearance in Brampton at a later date. The charges against them have not been tested. In the release, investigators said they have reason to believe there may be additional victims and asked anyone with information to contact them at 905-453-2121, extension 3335, or Crime Stoppers anonymously. A 20-year-old man from Toronto is facing several charges after police say they found a loaded homemade gun inside a vehicle over the weekend north of Toronto. The OPP said that on Sunday at approximately 1 a.m., a member of its highway enforcement team, along with the canine unit, pulled over a driver in the southbound lanes on Highway 400, south of Highway 9 in the township of King. During the traffic stop, they allegedly seized a personally manufactured firearm, which is also known as ghost gun, that had an extended magazine as well as an undisclosed amount of cash. Alexander, 19, of Toronto, has been charged with 10 firearms weapons-related offenses and 1 count of failure to comply with a release order. He was remanded into custody and has an upcoming court date in Newmarket. Police are investigating the deaths of 2 people inside a Bradford home in an incident they say is related to intimate partner violence. Last Friday, shortly after 6 p.m., South Simcoe Police SSP were called to residents on a Deputer Crescent in the town of Bradford, West Gwillimbury, for a well-being check. Their officers found a man and a woman dead inside the dwelling. The investigation was turned over the Forces Criminal Investigations Bureau, which has since determined that days earlier a man in his 60s killed his wife, who was in her late 50s, before killing himself. Police said that the deceased were a couple who had lived in Bradford for several decades. They also said that there had been no prior police calls to their residence. Given the sensitive nature of what has taken place, no further information will be released, SSP said in news release. Police, who are calling what occurred an isolated incident and said that there is no risk to the public, are now actively investigating the reasons that motivated his tragic incident. Anyone with further information is asked to contact South Simcoe Police at 905-773-3311, 705-436-2141, or Crime Stoppers anonymously. The organizers of a month-long boycott of Loblaw-owned stores say they have decided to extend the boycott past May. After a Reddit group created to vent and talk about high grocery prices attracted tens of thousands of members, plans formed for a 31-day boycott of Canada's larger grocer. In a press release sent by organizer Emily Johnson on Tuesday, the boycott organizers say a poll of the community's members suggests most want to keep the movement going. The release said the boycotters plan to focus on advocacy efforts in the months ahead. Loblaw has pushed back against criticisms of the company as frustration mounts over food inflation, saying it is not responsible for higher food prices. He said the company has been working hard to bring more value to customers through its discount stores, new promotions, and pushing back on supplier price increases. Loblaw and the other major Canadian grocers have been expanding their discount store footprints as more and more shoppers are flocking to those stores due to the rising cost of living. Food inflation has been moderating under the weight of higher interest rates, helping drive overall inflation lower in April, but prices are still significantly higher than they were a few years ago. Last year, the government called on grocers to do more to help stabilize food prices for consumers. Ottawa has also been putting pressure on the major grocers to sign on to the Grocery Code of Conduct, an agreement meant to level the playing field in the food industry for suppliers and smaller retailers. Last week, Loblaw announced it's ready to participate in the code after several months of discussions with the industry group leading its creation. The grocer had been a high-profile holdout on the code since last December, when it told a House of Commons committee that it was concerned the code could lead to higher prices. In the press release, the boycott organizers said their statement reflects the collective determination of a community fed up with the disparity between rising grocery prices and the record profits reported by companies like Loblaw. The Reddit group currently has more than 80,000 members. The poll conducted on Reddit shows almost 6,300 people participated, with about 3,700 voting to continue the boycott past May and about 1,900 voting to keep it going for the rest of the second quarter.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.